Hey everyone, it's the Snowman with TooLoud2OldMusic.com. Welcome back to Retro Rock Reviews. And this week we go back to 1973 and we talk one of the most sinister albums. Well, not really. It's Alice Cooper's Billion Dollar Babies. I love this album. The album cover is fantastic with the snake skin. We've got the band members and some pictures there, as well as that. And underneath, just here where the album slides in, there's a billion dollar baby picture on the cover inside, which is kind of weird. You wouldn't expect to have any artwork there, but it's really cool that they have that. I do not have any of the billion dollar bills. This is not, it wasn't a clean copy when I got it. Um, but I do like the Warner Brothers green label. I do have the insert with a great picture of Alice and the band and a billion dollar baby. And then you got the lyrics over here on the back and the dollar sign. So nice album packaging, really great. They always do a good job with their packaging on the Alice Cooper albums. Always a good thing. Producer on this for those Kiss fans out there is Bob Ezrin, and it's probably because of this album that Kiss really wanted Bob Ezrin to record Destroyer, which he did. And Bob's influence is all over this thing. You can tell a Bob Ezrin album for the most part. He does add a lot of extra little things into the songs, and you can hear that in the Kiss A Destroyer album as well. So there'll be a little bit of comparison to that. But this album went to number one in the US and in the UK and sold over 1 million copies going platinum. The band was Glenn Buxton, Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway, and Neil Smith, even though, if I'm not mistaken, Glenn Buxton was sick throughout this album. So they brought in a lot of other guitarists, including Mick Mashber, Dick Wagner, Kiss Ghost guitarist, and the great Steve Deacon Hunter, who handled the guitar solo on at least 5 songs and some pedal and steel guitars on some others. Um, so really great guitar work, some great guitar players in there. The album was released on February 25th, 1973, which would have put me at about, I don't know, 4 years old. So I kind of missed this album when it came out. I found it much, much later. But it's such a good album. Alice still actually plays 4 songs from this album in his live shows today. I've seen him twice over the last 5, 6 years. Um, and both times fantastic. And these songs from this album were played. The second time I saw him at Ace Frehley opening up. So there's another Kiss connection there. Um, but yeah, my copy's a little rough shape, so but that's okay. We'll go through the album now. So it opens up with Hello Hurrah, which is a Judy Collins cover, um, written by Rolf Kemp is his name. And it starts off, if you think of Kiss, like I said, I'm gonna do Kiss a lot. If you think of Great Expectations and how they had the orchestration, they had that same kind of thing here where it wasn't orchestration, though. It was more like a Broadway kind of almost flamboyant cabaret feel to the song. But towards the end, it gets a lot heavier. The bass gets kicked in. There's a little more bluesiness to it as it moves on. And it's just one of those songs that does a lot of different things. So it's going to keep you guessing on what's really to come for the rest of the album. The next song is called Raped and Freezin', and it is a pretty dark, disturbing song lyrically, but it's Alice Cooper. So what do you expect? They're supposed to be dark. But it is seem to be more of a comical take on someone who might have been sexually harassed and then left, chased around naked in the desert, that kind of weirdness to it, um, which is not very funny, but musically, it's very lighthearted and almost a little bit poppy to it. Great guitar solo in it. Seems it's just as bright and sunny as the song kind of feels. The chorus is uplifting, it's catchy. Uh, and it's kind of, I do like that contradiction between the lyrics and the musical stylings. It adds a lot when you get that difference in it. The ending of it is all celebratory, and there's even cowbell, and heck, you can never have too much cowbell. The next song, super fun live song. When it's done live, it's one of my favorites. It's Elected. It pokes fun at the US political system, which is kind of even more of a joke today, but we won't go there. It's another light, fun sounding song with some more orchestration and some horns. And again, that's probably synthesizers, but still has that sound to it. It keeps it upbeat. Uh, I love Alice. He sounds great. He gives us all and the screaming out the lyrics and stuff. It's a little silly song, but I do love it as well. And if I'm not mistaken, it is a rework of the song Reflected that they did. Up next is Billion Dollar Babies, the title track. This is a duet done with a very talented and very famous singer named Donovan. And you know he's got to be good if he's only got one name because Madonna, Cher, they all only have one name. So why not Donovan? Where Alice does the more demonic and sinister side of this song, Donovan's falsetto and clean angelic vocals, he kind of takes on the other persona in the song. That dichotomy in the vocals really works, and I find enjoyable. And it also ends with a wicked guitar solo by Deacon, and probably one of my favorite tracks on the album. I have actually quite a few favorite tracks on the album. And this is probably the other favorite one that I have, and one of the coolest, most fun deep cuts too. So, and that song is Unfinished Suite. We all love going to the dentist. Well, okay, we all hate going to the dentist, but we're gonna love this song. It's got an opening bass line, really outstanding, and gets your attention really quick. It's got dental drill sounds and all sorts of sound effects. And again, Ezrin's famous for that. Just look at Detroit Rock City with all the radio in the car and stuff. So it's definitely that got that flavor on there. The song makes a complete left turn, kind of gets all, I don't know, it sounds a little James Bond theme esque to it. And then it does get a little bit psychedelic. Uh, so it's just a weird song, but I really love it. And like I said, it's one of the coolest deep cuts on the album and one of my other favorite songs. So flip the side over. We go to side two, and it kicks off with wow, one of his most famous songs, "No More Mr. Nice Guy." Now I know we know Alice today, what Vincent Damon Fournier, Fournier, something like that. Very nice. He's probably one of the nicest guys in rock and roll. One of the nicest guys, probably, period. So we know he's always a nice guy. The song again, upbeat, chipper. Um, it's not dark like you kind of would expect. It's got catchy, it's kind of bouncy a little bit. And when Alice plays this live, the fans really get into it. And I know I did. I was singing at the top of my lungs when I heard this song come on. So another great classic Alice Cooper song. Then we get to another one of my absolutely favorite Alice Cooper tracks, and that's Generation Landslide. It's basically about the end of the world. It's upon us. The apocalypse has begun. It opens with an acoustic guitar, and then it's a nice shuffle in the percussion. It's a very Bowie-esque style to it, in my opinion. It's just a very musically adventurous piece. He speaks a little bit of the lyrics in a very sinister voice, as he only Alice can do, and it's very dramatic. There's some harmonicas in it, gives a nice little bluesy flair to it. And it's just one of the more interesting songs, I think, on the album. And there is even a shout out to Billion Dollar Babies in the lyrics as well, even though there's a title track. So really cool song. Then we go take a hard left turn, and it kind of goes downhill with me. A lot of people might like Sick Things, but for me, it's not that great. He speaks the lyrics very slow and deliberate and very sinister, and it's accompanied by some bass and some heavy drums. There's a little orchestration and there's a good guitar solo, but the song just feels different for me. It just feels out of place on the album. So it's not one of my favorite songs. But luckily, that's like probably the only song that I'm like, about. Um, then there was actually the next song, Mary Ann, which I believe has never been played by the band live, which I find that interesting after what, 50 something years. It's a really cool song. It's Alice singing with a piano. And it's kind of almost a ballad. To me, it's like a creepy and dark Barry Manilow kind of feel to it. I know that's a weird comparison. It's a really short song, so it's done. It's a little weird and out of place, but it's not a bad song. I do kind of like that one. And then the last song we get is I Love the Dead. More piano, more Alice speaking the lyrics. Where I didn't like it on Sick Things, I like it here. It's dark, foreboding, it's evil, and there's a little sadness to it. Uh, I don't know. This one's just it's got a killer chorus, kind of feels like a Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of song. So this one kind of works. Great guitar work. It's just a fun song. A great way to end the album. And that's all of it. I mean, it's a classic Alice Cooper album, great production, as you would expect with Bob Ezrin. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. So not perfect because I didn't like Sick Things. I admitted that, but it's pretty darn close. So again, it's Alice Cooper's Billion Dollar Babies. If you don't know it, give it a spin. If you don't have it, buy it when you see it. It's a great album. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Retro Rock Review. Have a good one.